Move the goddamn ringing phone. Just shut it off. Anyway. He served his time, but he was a changed man when he got out. He wasn't going to be a skinhead anymore. But because of what he had done, he wound up paying a much bigger price in the end. In the end, much bigger than the time he served in jail, because family of that guy he had brutally, the African-American guy he had brutally murdered years before, wound up killing the skinhead's younger brother. You know, payback. It's like my friend Joe talks about, where I was telling him, you know, well, I forgive my mom, you know, for throwing me to the wolves and whatnot, and you know, and he's like, Joe says, like, well, you can forgive somebody, but they still have to, you know, suffer the consequences for their actions. And in this case, Joe was saying, you know, your mom and Marion both spit on the gift you were trying to give your mom by living there in exchange for, you know, taking care of your mom, looking after her well-being, you know, and I have to remember, nobody has that fucking home phone number. It's always telemarketers or whatnot. Or someone, I don't know, calling for him or something, but he got this home phone for me. So if someone's trying to reach him on this home phone, it's probably something stupid, and they rang twice this morning and woke me up. I gotta remember to shut the fucking thing off. Can't for the life of me. I just... You know, people give in to impulses. Often with you know, with deadly consequences. They don't think. They're just not thinking. As an aside, is another reason why my shelter friend and I really weren't really made to be friends. Because I think about all this kind of crap, and she was just like, well, what do you even worry about that for? What Jodi Arias did, or why she did it, or whatnot? Leave me alone. Because that's what I do. Because I'm a lifelong philosopher, okay? And I need to think about these things, especially since I have lived in fear my entire fucking life of going crazy, like I've repeatedly watched happen to my mom, okay? I remember my mom tried to harm me when I was 23, and I might not be here right now. If she had got a hold of me, I was just smarter and quicker than her, she might have hurt me. I mean, she might have killed me. It wouldn't have been her fault. It was her illness. You know, so this life terrifies me. So I have to think about all this shit, you know? And the thing with the animals, remember that group? I'm talking about will make great pets. I remember that group, that was too long ago. I can't remember everything, like I said. But anyway, we feel that we have the right to do whatever we want to do to the animals. and they can't talk, they can't say why you're doing this and whatever. But we, an alien race, could come down and view us the way we view the animals. An alien race could say we have every right to experiment on you or whatnot for our own betterment. And I watched that whole first and second series of V at my friend's that past summer. And that's like, they were reptiles, you know, and they thought we were just, they felt for their betterment, they had a right to do what they wanted to us. You know, they were superior, just like we're superior, feel we're superior to the animals. But I also feel that when we lack compassion for the animals, even like that confinement bill, yeah, okay, say we have to, I don't anymore, but okay, you say, at least I'm thinking about it. I chose to not, even for health reasons, because it's disgusting what goes on in those factory farms, period. Like that famous quote woman said, if slaughterhouses had glass windows, everyone would be vegetarian, you know? It's disgusting what goes on in those places. And it's also beyond cruel. If we have to eat the animals, they at least deserve to not be tormented ahead of time, to have the basic dignity of being able to, not just being able to having to stand straight and never be able to turn around their entire lives, you know. And it's disgusting what goes on, and it's cruel. And people with empathy, like I met, you know, at the Humane Lobby Day, can feel, even put their self, let alone in a human's place, they can put themselves in an animal's place. And I cry when I watch these little videos where, you know, one of them was this woman, they go undercover, and they tried to have an ag-gag bill where they weren't going to allow these people to, it was going to be against the law to go undercover, but it got vetoed apparently, you know, at least that didn't pass, you know, because I see undercover stuff. Without undercover, my God, anyone can get away with anything. All these undercover things I've seen on 2020, planes, they're supposed to be inspecting the plane that people are going up and they can crash and die, all these people, and instead they're asleep, and they filmed them. 2020 undercover people filmed them asleep when they were supposed to be inspecting the planes. Okay, so undercover is important because people, all, you know, there's too many people who want to keep their secrets, just like Marion wants to keep her secret. She wants to just have this all be hush-hush, what's going on with my mom and whatnot, and I'm not letting it happen. And I'm the first to admit, it's not easy to care. But without elaborating, I'll tell you, there's bad people out there that forget about the animals. That's bad enough. Because, oh, there's so many animals, who cares? They eat each other in the water. Yeah, but they don't torment each other first, you know. There are bad people that, in the case history was with Hitler, you know. Forget about the animals. He viewed human beings, hundreds of thousands of millions of human beings, as just expendable. You can experiment on them. You can do whatever you want to them. And that's my fear. Okay? Somebody, you can say, oh, well, there are people that view, oh, there's too many human beings, just like there's so many animals, we can do whatever we want, we're superior. Well, Hitler felt superior to the Jewish people or anyone who supported them or whatnot. He didn't just kill them, he also felt justified in using them as human guinea pigs, using them as experiments, you know. The slave people back then, they owned the slaves legally. No one was going to punish them, so they felt like they could do anything. They could beat them, they can rape them, they can do whatever they want to them, torment them, because they can get away with it legally. Legally, we can, you know, have all the animals in those factory farms and eat them. Legally, we can do experiments on them, even unnecessary ones, even when there's ones you can do. Certainly don't have to test makeup on animals. That's why, you know, I just recently bought mascara. There's makeup out there that doesn't use animal testing, you know. I'm the first to admit it's a hell of a lot easier to not give a shit about anything than to care. You care too much, you find out you're alone in the caring, and also you just, you know, it can be overwhelming. So I can say all these things how it should be. Does it mean I can actually feel it deep within my heart at all times? No. But at least I'm at a point where I'm thinking about it, where so many people are like, Marion, my mom was kind of proud of me, you know. Laura's trying to, you know, Laura cares about the animals in the factory farms and whatnot, the cruelty and whatnot, and she's not eating meat anymore. You know, she says, Laura's a vegetarian, and blah, blah, blah. I'm saying, she said this to Marion, and Marion's just like most people are, well, we have to eat meat. No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. You're not going to, I'm too smart for you. You're not going to pull the wool over my eyes. You want to eat meat. You want to because it tastes good. But you don't have to eat meat, okay? You don't have to. So I believe everyone should at least pass above that. Oh, well, we have to, you know, no, you have to think. You can still, in the end, choose to eat meat. I found out about this factory farms long years ago when I read this book that was written like 20 years ago. I chose to read it. I found it in the library. So I knew everything was happening, and I still continued to eat meat year after year after year. It was Joe. He influenced me a lot in a lot of different ways, and now it's not killing me to not eat meat. I'm never going to eat meat again. At least not the factory farmed meat. I will eat wild-caught salmon. I won't eat the farm-raised salmon. That's all disgusting too. I was eating that with my mom twice a week or something. But you know what I mean? It was like Hope, just on a lesser level. Hope used to say to me, I remember she said to me, you need to lose the little girl in you. No, I don't. I don't even need to stay alive. I can fucking kill myself if I want to. I don't need to lose the little girl. I don't need to do anything. And I told my mom about that, and she's like, that's what makes you special, or the little girl in you. It doesn't matter. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to care. I don't need to be here. I don't need to love anybody. I can kill myself if I wanted to. Okay? So Marion with her little to my mom, well, we have to eat meat. No, you don't. You choose to because you like the taste of it. You don't have to eat meat. Okay? There's thousands, hundreds of people out there who don't eat meat. The woman I met the other day stopped 20 years ago, and she doesn't even, she's big, and she doesn't even have the dairy, fish, and eggs like I do. And she's still alive and kicking, isn't she? It's just you have to be more creative. So don't give me your shit. You have to. You don't have to do anything. You don't even have to remain alive if you don't want to. And sadly, 1 million people a year, I believe. That's across the whole world, but I believe I read that somewhere. I don't know what the statistics are for the U.S., but I know suicide's an epidemic. 1 million people a year, whatever. Prove that. You don't even have to stay alive if you don't want to. You can take your own life. American History X, he did his time in jail, but he had taken a life. He had taken a life of somebody, who was loved, and in the end, he lost to murder. His brother was murdered by somebody who had loved the guy that he had murdered years before. See? He might have changed, and that's wonderful. He still had to suffer the consequences, though. Worse consequences than spending 5 years in jail or whatever it was that he spent. I think it was 5 years. Because it wasn't planned. It was unplanned murder. Don't have to do anything. Don't have to be prim and proper. Don't have to do anything. As long as I don't hurt anybody, I don't know. I was reminded of all this crap. There's just, this morning when I was watching the news, it's just such a difference. There's such a difference between somebody who plans to kill somebody. You know what I mean? They're both murderers, and that, the woman who she pushed her brand new husband over a cliff. She got the thought in her head and then did it without thinking. It's a problem. People have to think more. They have to think about the consequences of what they do. Gavin de Becker pointed it out loud and clear in his book. None of us know really what we're capable of. That woman was saying just days before, hours before, whatever, she was on her honeymoon. She was looking at this guy and thinking, I love you so much and I'm going to spend the rest of my life with you. Could she have even fathomed she was going to murder him? No. But the fact is, she did do it. And my guess is she doesn't know why she did it. All I have to say about that is, we've all had thoughts. We've had thoughts of doing this, that, whatever. But you have to control your own mind to a point. You have to bypass that and at least think about the consequences. You can't just act on an impulse. I mean, not when it comes to killing somebody or hurting or raping or something like that or stealing or, if that's what people do. And when I was having this conversation with my shelter friend outside when it was warmer in the summertime, she was like, oh, you think too much, and you just, who cares why Jodi Arias did what she did or whatever, and people don't think. And she gave me examples of her own, people just act, they don't think. Yeah. That's what they do. It's scary because people are ticking time bombs. They're You know, Aerosmith, there's something wrong with the world today, light bulbs getting dim or whatever. People are, you just don't know. A recent example is that movie theater thing. It blew the guy away. I mean, he didn't plan to do that. He acted without thinking. I've spent my whole life thinking and thinking and thinking and reading and reading and reading. At certain points in my life, all I did was read and read and read and read. But I've been through so much hell, I had to think about it. Think about why these people are being so cruel to me. Why does my father not love me? Why does there have to be mental illness? Why did my mom have to go crazy? You know, and on and on and on and on. Why do all these people make promises to me and never keep them? I like to think that we're here for some kind of reason. I don't accept easy answers. And it could be we're not here for any reason. But if you think that way, unfortunately, see, I'm big on not being tortured. See? I used to say, you want to kill me fast, but don't torture me, you know? So, if you think, okay, well, we're here for no reason, that gives the evil people, you know, free reign to do what they want, to humans, to experiment on us, to use us as their sex toys, to do whatever, you know what I mean? To me, that's why we have to believe we're here for some reason. Because if we don't, if we think there's just too many human beings or only some matter and others are expendable, then we're dead. Or I should rephrase that, we're worse than dead. That's a good title, huh? If we don't start thinking that we all matter, we're not just dead, we're worse than dead. I can think of a lot of things far worse than death. Kruger, if everyone cared and nobody cried, if everyone loved and nobody lied, if everyone shared and swallowed their pride, you'd see the day when nobody died. I wrote a song that one of the lines is, when you know you can make a difference, but you wonder if you care. That it's a hell of a lot easier to not care at all. It's not easy to care. It's easier to just not give a shit. far too many bad things can happen if you don't give a shit. That's the problem. And I'm talking about things that are worse than death, okay? That can happen to any of us. I don't know why the fuck we're here. Now the Chad Kruger line, believe it or not, everyone hates admitting fear. Believe it or not, most of us want to know why we're here. But we are. And I don't want to be. I've never wanted to be for as long as I can remember. As long as I can remember, I have not wanted to be here. Period. Period. No, well, I kind of want to be here and kind of, no, I've never wanted to be here. Ever. Ever. And then the ironic thing, if I'm using irony correctly, that word, while I'm busy not wanting to be here, tons of people, strengthening that, influencing that, making, intensifying that feeling in me, making me feel like I shouldn't be here and should die and, and don't belong here, so I already felt that way anyway. Reinforcing, and then had all people around me in the outside world reinforcing how I already felt. Despite my best efforts to die without actually committing suicide, here I still am. Alicia role lives on. I think that's what I titled my Flickr page. I lost my old Flickr. Hacker Enemy might have got that too, I think. Hacker Enemy tried her best to destroy me online, and it didn't work. I came out stronger than ever. Although sadly I lost most of my 1,200 crazy messages I sent to Nickelback's MySpace page in the course of a little over a year. I had them all, because every time I sent it out, I actually saved it to my MySpace, what it used, you used to have blog or whatever, MySpace doesn't save sent messages to anybody, but you can certainly copy and paste it and put it in your blog. That was safe for a long time until Hacker Enemy destroyed it all on me. But if I had to lose something, I'd rather lose those messages that for all we know could just be sitting there still. And later that friend who passed away, she told me, look Laura, the reason that you were never blocked is because nobody really reads those messages that you send to a rock star's page or whatever, and they could still be sitting there, but I doubt it. They're gone, except for the few I salvaged. If I had to lose something, though, believe me, much would rather lose those crazy 1,200 messages. And yeah, it was 1,200, because last time before Hacker Enemy got them, I counted them. It was about 1,200 messages. Sent on a daily basis. Sent even while I was homeless on the streets of Massachusetts after my mom had the police escort me off her property, because Marion threatened to, as I found out later, Marion threatened to throw her back in the mental hospital where staff there had hurt her. And I have that down on her journal that I got from her, stole from her, so no one else could take it or destroy it, including her and her sickness and lead or madness, whatever might destroy it. I'd find public computers where I could write to Chad Kruger, write to Nickelback's MySpace. So I documented everything via that, but lost most of it. But I would rather lose that than my Alicia Creature and Alicia Roll 1 videos. And YouTube investigated. Once I filled out a report that I had been hacked into and they had destroyed my channel, YouTube investigated and returned them all to me. And then I got them, got them safe using like a video downloader, and they're safe forever now. Don't know. I suppose I should call my mom. I have a feeling after all these weeks waited to have this meeting, there's not going to be a meeting. Maybe it's pointless. Maybe but I'm going to keep my word. I thought I was doing good if I called my mom every other day, but I visited her Saturday, called her Monday. Why haven't I heard from you? Well, it's only been, I don't call you every day. I need to hear from you, Laura. I'm like, all right. I will call you every day, even if only briefly. So we will call her now. And see what happens. Last time she hung up on me, she said, they don't want me talking to you. I don't know if they is the staff at the hospital, or more than likely the gods and goddesses, the voices in her head telling her that. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. Nothing. It's not for sure. It's just my inner whatever. There's things that I feel, there's things that I believe should be that aren't. And okay. Let's call Mama. It's always just so much fun. Although she didn't talk to me long yesterday to worry. I shouldn't be talking to her like I was doing before for a real long time anyway. But I'm at least going to try. If I try to reach her and can't, or she doesn't want to talk to me, then at least I did what I kept my word. I called, just like I tried to get Angel and couldn't, but I tried to do the right thing. The thing that I thought, would give my mom hope. That at the very least, she wouldn't lose her dog, or at least, even if I would have her dog, but the people who have the dog now need to think about what's in the dog's best interest, not what's in my mama's best interest. And I get that. I do.